Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy. I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wandos.
And Calvin.
Coach of Governator.
King Calvin is back.
Once again.
Yeah.
Finishing
How
on a
are you
high.
doing this?
I don't know how I'm doing it.
It's
Roy.
epic to watch,
Yeah.
mate.
Is
No,
it really?
It
though?
is. It is.
Oh, look, I don't know, Roy. Some teams peak at the wrong time of the year.
It's just
I'm peaking.
such
You
a
are
good
peaking.
turnaround.
Yeah.
If it was the season was another 10 weeks,
Oh.
you might get
Oh.
within a couple
Car.
thousand spots of us.
100%.
Get the car. Good one, dog. But no,
So
yes.
you're doing well.
Not
I
a
am.
bad little drive
yes,
by.
it wasn't bad. Yes, the boys are responding
They are.
at the pointy end.
All right,
but,
tell us what you scored then for round 23.
2,480 is what I...
You just keep doing
Must
it.
have been well above par because what happened?
rocketed me up the rankings, Roy. Nearly under 6K. So 60.88 is where I am sitting at the moment.
You said you were going to get inside that top
5,000.
Yeah. And you
do
went
it.
and
Look,
took 1,000 spots off it.
I'm going to need something pretty amazing
You
to
just
happen
keep
here.
being amazing, mate.
Well, thank you, Roy. I appreciate it.
Just get a good captain.
Well, that's it.
That's what you need.
Well, mate,
Killing
check
it,
out my
just
captains.
quietly.
I can't
I-
miss with anything at the moment.
I slid down 12 spots to 1280 overall, so my goal of the top 1,000 might be done.
That's disappointing.
24-14 for the Warn Dogs. So it must have been pretty close to par for teams around that range
Yeah.
because I only dropped 12 spots.
Right. My
Okay.
goal is to make it inside the top 1,000.
Oh, come
Hang
on.
in there somehow. So I got 23.59. It dropped me 200. Oh, no, it dropped me to 243, down 58 spots. Okay. Oh, hell yeah, right. Far out, mate. We've got one foot on the plane to Bali at Destroy. We are just limping to the finish line, and it's not pretty.
You needed it not to be a 24-round season.
No,
You
big
need to go
time.
Back to old school.
I have felt the fatigue, to be honest. Why? How is it dragging out this long?
I don't know. Still going.
We don't hear it in your voice, though, Destroy.
Hey, my intro had energy.
It did.
Yeah, don't expect that to maintain throughout the episode.
No.
No.
Here it is! That's what you did, you stuck it right up them.
Weasel number 2. I'm now an owner of Jack Steele and his 148. Now, he had a quadruple double.
Wow.
That's 15 kicks, 12 marks, 12 handballs, 10 marks, 10 tackles, and 2 sausage rolls.
He's just back.
He
when
is back.
he
Good.
is stuffing the stat line
Yep.
like that, you know Steele
Yep.
is at his best. And there was not a cat that went near him.
No.
He was so good.
He was.
Nic Newman for me. Slow start.
It was.
12 points in the first quarter, but then 32, 36, 39. It was that nice instant reward from the trade from Sheasel, as I had to do. The game high, 11 marks. It was just a nice way to finish the round.
Daicos, after copping serious heat
yes.
and a -3, I had to turn it around for him. So he had a quarter pounder in the second with 67 points, 14 touches, 2 goals in that time. Just quietly made up for his 8 in the first and 11 in the fourth.
Unreal.
But let's just focus on the 67.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
I'll go with Zach Merritt and he's 64. Bombers superstar.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time.
People
He
wanted him
is.
snouted.
Unbelievable. So, yes, he copped attention from James Jordan. However, 64. What did you say Daicos got in a quarter?
There's 67.
My goodness.
It wasn't good. Hayden Young for me cops it for his 73. 6 points in the third quarter. It was just like a whole meh. And I guess it's about he could have been a guy that went, or I could have actually done some looping and gained an extra 20-odd points if I had have done that. So he can cop it, and I've just starting to run out of patience with old Hayden Young.
I reckon.
6 points. It's not even a junior burger.
No, it's
Now,
Hopeless.
we'll let Roy have the floor.
Oh, my God. Well, hit a 6, they say.
Yeah.
Hit a 6.
I do.
Tell you who I'd hit for 6, James Sicily. It's a guy that obviously I never really like, but that matchup was too good to ignore in the position I was in. So I fell 7K short of doing the trade I wanted to Nic Newman. Didn't think it would cost me 70 points in that matchup. So it's his lowest career score versus Richmond. He's first under 100 in his last 5 versus them, and he's first under 110 in his last 4 against them. He managed 50. He was disinterested. He sucked. He's everything I thought he always has been. Tried to hit a 6, hit middle stump. If I could pick up that middle stump and hit him with it, I would.
Now,
Actually, he's down here this week. I might.
Trading him, though?
No, probably not.
Call the RSPCA, Roy, for the old SicDawg.
It's not going to be pretty. I'm going to cheer for the SicDawg this weekend.
I like it.
There were some shocking scores over the weekend as well, though. Like, some people copped it massively.
Yes, good
James
teams.
Peatling,
Yes.
a 30. That
30.
was not good.
I had him as well.
Brody Grundy, if you didn't get your chance to move that on 44 points he had.
Boy, oi, oi.
Boy, oi's right. That was nasty.
That's not good.
I'll tell you who was looking really bad. Semi saved it. Lairdy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He had 15 at the half.
Was.
That was brutal.
So he ended up with 67, Lairdy.
But that just wrecks a draft.
Oh, yeah.
You're done.
Oh, cooked.
Yep.
Speaking of draft, I had Berry subbed out. And this is the funny one, though. So when Fish went down the other day, went to the market, I had to... I got rid of him. I thought he won't be back for Peatling.
Oh, no. Right, so you're knocked out of draft.
I'm just out of everything,
Right.
seeing them very poorly.
Linking to the line.
Yeah.
Now, this weekend was an interesting weekend for Calvin's captains because it was all talked up all week about
Xerri.
It was a fun game to play.
That was fun. It was fun to watch.
Yep.
It was fun to see what the heck we were going to do and how that all ended up. So, the story, basically, Saturday night, 131 for Marshall.
I tell you what,
Do you take it?
not seeing everything well, but we saw that 131 coming, didn't
Yes,
we,
yeah.
the other day?
Number 2 on Calvin's captains, mate.
And it was just right in that awkward. You couldn't have a more awkward number than
beautiful.
131.
It was beautiful.
It
So-
was beautiful.
The plan going in, I said 130 I wouldn't take, but
Yeah.
you were 140
yeah.
and Cal's 135. So you guys clearly didn't take it.
No, I did not take.
You were taking that on to go with the X. Now, I did the same.
Oh, he
I
lied.
took it on.
Lying to the public.
No, it was my... Actually, to be honest, I told people still to take it or whatever, but I just had to do that matchup dependent because I didn't want to be the lowest scorer out of us 3. So
Didn't you check I had SicDawg bringing me home?
this was where it came down to, essentially, is going a bit of a matchup dependent type thing that you were looking at there. I was going, what's the worst he does?
Yeah.
And I was going 115. So what am I losing? 16 points there. What can he do on the other side of that?
Yes.
He could have put a 160, 180. He could have been
Well,
up to 50 points more
what did he
than
start
what
with?
Marshall
He had a
scored.
45 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, here comes a 180.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As I do. Didn't quite go that way.
No, it didn't.
He had a quiet quarter 2 with only 13 points.
Yeah. That's what's hurt.
And that's what hurt us there because the other ones were fine. There was a 36 and a 28 even to finish off.
Yeah. So anyway, it just shows.
So, yeah,
Good
ended
player,
up, though,
well
122. So it was worth having a crack at.
It
You
was.
lost 9 points.
Yeah, lost 9, and just like you said, the
Hope
upside
no
could
one
have been.
lost a game by 9 points.
Well,
when
that's true.
They
That's true.
took it on,
Um,
and their opponent didn't.
yeah, no, worth the punt.
Definitely.
But it was, in a game at the moment, for myself personally speaking, and there's a few others out there with zero enjoyment. That was an enjoyable little one to play.
It was,
a game within a play with the VC and the C.
Oh, maybe there's some of those this weekend. Now, X is 59 points behind Marshall overall, so I don't think he's going to catch him
No.
to beat him for the year. However, he is clearly next week when we announce our fantasy MVP. He has to be the man. So
Surely.
he started at 580K, so he's up to $1,135,000. So that means, like, that's a record. No one's ever been over 1.1 before, and he's done it. God.
You beautiful man.
So he's up 555K.
That is just ridiculous.
555K up. Now, that's more than any rookie that we've had this year. So, like, Matt Roberts is 488, Colby 487.
God.
Okay.
What a man.
Next year in draft, is he the number 1 pick?
Yes.
He is, isn't he?
Yes.
Is he?
Forever.
Is
for the next
Marshall
5
still
years.
number 1, though?
Marshall number 2.
I'd go X first.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, mate.
Oh, what a man.
No
What a
one
beautiful
pick is a
man.
curse in draft.
Isn't it ever? Yeah, always is.
It was interesting to see what coaches did, though. It looked like, so Jaden popped out a nice tweet basically showing that most in the top 100 just took row.
Boring.
So it was 67%.
Probably the right
took in,
players.
33% took it on with X. And then when you go to the top 1,000, it evened up, basically almost 50% each. And then the top 10,000, we're going
Chased to 180.
56% went X.
To be honest,
38% went row.
a lot of the people in that top 10,000 group probably forgot to check their captains anyway.
It's just amazing that it turned out to be so close in the end. Like, usually there's some sort of disaster and captain hindsight issue, but everyone, I think, feels okay about it in the end.
We got a 2,600 on the dot for the weekly winner. So that
nice.
was Douglas's team, Flog Squad. Sounds like our teams. But, 2,600. But there was quite a few up there. They were so close. Like, the top 5 were all within 5 points of each other. And just of note in that, Fleabaggers. I think Fleabaggers came second last year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, came fourth for the round.
Oh, really?
He didn't come second. He was right up the top there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember.
Now, overall leader is Pom United. So Tom is
he's back.
still there. God, this is going to be a big finish because this is
what a
so
week.
close. So the top 4 are super close there. They're within 60, about that. Yep, 70 points or so of each other. And, there's just interesting stuff going on with them. Old mate Brady's team, B-Dizzle, was sitting up there early on. Got looping going on, whereas Tom is very much limping to the line with his squad. It's crazy to watch. So it's going to be a massive finish to see over the weekend. It may even come down to that last game, Freo and Port.
Freo and Port to
night.
bring it home.
The line that we always use.
Yeah.
Fantasy football makes me watch Freo and Port.
Wow, the interesting thing there too is that Freo might be done.
Yeah,
By
so
then.
those games could be, Bulldogs, Blues, and someone
Bulldogs,
else.
Blues, and Hawthorn.
Yeah, if they all win prior to that, then
So-
Freo can't make it.
Dead rubber.
Yeah.
Luke Ryan.
Because I don't think it even changes for
They don't-
Port.
Oh, doesn't it?
It might be a little bit of a dependence on that.
So
but
they might be looking at resting people, whereas Freo are going out
Just a junket.
junket.
Junk.
A junket.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Now, hat
nerve-wracking
watch.
if you're at the top.
100th spot has 49,729 points. That's Blake's team. Guess what? Hilux Hunters have exactly the same score, and someone call a doc has that as well. So they're all on the
Wowzers.
same one, but that all goes back to their highest score that has been scored.
Man, oh man, that is going to be a nervous weekend
Wouldn't
for
it ever?
them too.
It's tight.
Roy, 190 points off 100th.
Well,
now.
do you know what? You're saying that negatively. That's a pretty good season for
That's
me.
a great year, Roy.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I probably will next year.
Well, that's the thing with the song. It's dateless.
It's reusable.
Yeah.
I have no doubt I'll have a bit of luck next year. I'll probably win it.
Yep.
We're
Probably
looking
win the
at
car.
our big quarters, the quarter pounders, and Roy, you gave it in your plus. three
Well.
there. Nic Daicos, 67
Rude.
points. So that was in the second quarter. What was it? 14 touches there, couple of snags.
couple goals.
Great goals.
It was 8 points in that first quarter, 11 in the last. Not good. Now,
I
55.
did fire a rocket at quarter time.
Yeah, it was one of your
55
best.
points in the fourth quarter for Ollie Wines. Cow, your man, Brent Daniels.
Brent.
Had 54 in the first quarter.
That's what he'll do to you.
He's good.
He's a good little player.
Bailey
very
Dale,
good.
53 points in the fourth quarter. Now, special mention needs to go to McRae, who had 49 in the last quarter. Came on basically halfway through the third. He had 80 points.
So he hasn't lost it.
No, he hasn't
coming
lost
on.
it. Everyone else was tired, but Jack
Yeah.
was fresh.
Yeah, Jack would have looked like he had a bit of toe.
He
A
was
few
moving.
players had 51-point quarters. Cal Wilkie and Rowan Marshall both had 51 in the third in that game. In that game as well, Lawson Humphreys in the first quarter started off on fire, 51 points there, but then had a 9 and 3 in the third and fourth.
Slowed
Ouch.
down.
Sam Darcy, he was on fire, kicking snags, kicked 7 for the game. He had a 51-point third quarter. Jai Newcombe started on fire with 51 in the first. And Roy, Corey Durden,
if you don't mind.
50 points in the second quarter, and then got injured in the third.
Overcooked himself.
So that was a big watch there. So quarters, they're taking off the old quarter.
Haven't it ever?
They have.
It's a
They
fun
love
little
it now.
watch, and
They're
we'll
all
see
chasing one.
how they all go this weekend. Votes are in for the Michael Barlow Medal. That's our cash cow of the year for round 23. And Joel Frazier gets the 5 votes for taking 13 marks and racking up 29 touches for 115. That was an impressive effort on Sunday Arvo at Marvel Stadium.
A couple of goals helped Darcy Wilson score his second 100 for his career, and that has locked him into 5th for the Michael Barlow Medal.
Harley Reid tried hard against my Blue Boys to grab 3 votes with his 99 points. If only he'd converted his shots at goal, he would have had a crack at the fantasy ton.
There you go. Archie Roberts has been good for his 3 games for the Bombers. He had 25 disposals for his 95 points, and that snagged him 2 votes.
10 marks to go with his 22 disposals up on the Gold Coast helped Blake Howes secure 1 vote. His first since way back in round 2.
Right, the leaderboard shows this is anyone's award at the moment with Matt Roberts and Jeremy Sharp on 37 votes, Colin McKercher 36, and Ollie Dempsey, he's on 33. It will all come down to round 24.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
Alrighty, a couple of things to get out of the weekend that we take into round 24. Make sure you're across all the news on afl.com.au and the AFL Live app because it will all drop there, and it's important that you've got that for grand final weekend that it is coming up. Tom Sparrow hurt his ankle, and what else we got? Jared Berry, bit of hamstring tightness for him. So that's big because the tag.
Yeah, it won't be there. He won't play.
I don't think he plays. And he hasn't even been tagging anyway.
No,
so
he hasn't.
No.
Isaac Rankin concussed from Dan Houston.
Yes, he was.
Dan Houston's off to the tribunal, basically. See you later, mate. He won't be playing this week for you in your fantasy football final.
Real nice.
You got him, it hurts in draft.
Big time.
Because he would have probably been D1 possibly there. Lockie Jones was subbed out with Achilles soreness. Now, Brad Hill, he hurt his back. He was subbed out, so he could have been in that mix of some of those players last week with the poo out and coming in. Caminiti hurt his shoulder. Charlie, straight out of Combin, he was concussed, as was Miller Bergman. Was listening to She's actually in the pre-game on Triple M, that was, and he's no chance to play this week.
Who's that?
She's
no
He's
chance.
hobbling around on crutches still with a moon boot on, so
really?
he won't be playing for anyone that may.
Straight out of Combin. He went to hospital for a calf as well.
Oh, was it a calf, was it?
Yeah, after concussion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yelch.
Don't know what happened there.
Will Day, collarbone. So the good news for him is that it's not broken. They're not sure, and this is the news to stay tuned to. He could still play this week, so we're just waiting on it. So it's either... Yeah, I don't know. Do they want him? They need to win, obviously.
They need to win, but
so it's not broken. That's the good news.
That's the good news. I'll tell you what, he is almost not first picked, but he's top 5 picks next year.
Next year, be cheap.
Yeah, so cheap.
Scrimshaw hurt his finger. Now Corey Durden, that was a shoulder that we mentioned before, and Zach Williams, hammy. So what do you reckon, Roy? What have you heard out of that? Because you're pretty close to everything at the Blues.
They said he'd done his hammy, and then they said, no, he's just cramping. Anything to do with soft tissue, hamstrings, and Williams
Exactly.
is not good. No. So I hope it's cramped.
Well, maybe they have to play, though. That's the thing.
Well,
who have they got left on their list? How many come back this week?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't had a good look, but there's got to be a couple. They had 17 out.
It's like a 26 or a 28 available or something to be selected this week.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Fev put his hand up.
Yeah.
He'd kick one.
He'd get a few.
Or 2. The thing is, too, like someone placed their injury list out on paper in correct positions.
Okay.
Obviously one short, but it just filled
like a good
it was a
team as well.
well-rounded, balanced team. Yeah. Bad. But yeah, they should be right.
Lockie Ash copped a week at the tribunal. Now, in the Magoos, almost not worth talking about much of this, but we do want to give a shout-out to a few blokes. Old Ratkins, 40 disposals, 12 marks.
Still getting it done, the Rat.
What a weapon.
My man Lukosius, 5 goals, 14 marks, 139, and Sexy up forward as well, 5 goals for him, 11 marks and 132.
Because Lukosius was dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's had 2 weeks in the VFL now.
Yeah.
So that adds to his trade value.
Oh, 100%
Nice
it
little
does.
game like that.
Riley, got to look at him. 35 disposals. We've got to work with him, though, in this off-season. 25 of them were handballs.
Oh, Riley, come on.
So he scored 103. But Hugh Greenwood.
Yes.
Might be his last game in the North Melbourne colours there, because I think they gave him a bit of a clap-off and stuff.
Oh, did they?
So 26 disposals, 14 tackles. That's the Hugh that we love.
Yes.
And a goal for a 131.
14 cuddles. Good on you, Hughie.
Tag watch.
Is this redundant, Cal?
No, it's definitely
Totally.
not.
What's it looking like for round 20?
Couple of things to note. So, Nick Daicos against Melbourne, he played against them in round 13. That was the Neil Bullen tag.
Yeah.
Held him to 62. He ended up, he got subbed out because he got injured.
Yes.
Right, Roy? So, I don't think that happens.
No.
And it's definitely nothing to jump at.
No.
James Jordan will probably go to Jordan Dawson, who's been on fire. He's been really good. A couple of good weeks for him. So that's after he went to Merritt last week, held him to 64. The one we need to talk about is the Bulldogs GWS.
At Mars.
At Mars.
Dogs
12:30 on Saturday.
So, Bont.
Sunday even.
The last 2 times Bont has played GWS, he's been tagged by Ward on both times. This year, he was held to 71. Last year, 86.
He's got the better of him.
Yes. So, Ward to Bont. Most likely will happen again.
Yeah.
But then we've got Bedford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, well, that most likely will go to Treloar. So the Bedford tag is usually one that is very easy to predict.
Yes.
We've never got it wrong.
No.
Just like your submarine stuff on the weekend. We'll get to that.
That was good.
Right about that.
So that'll happen, but they're not going to run 2 taggers.
No.
How does that work?
It's going to be interesting. Now, they lost last time they tagged Bont.
Yes.
I think they might just go the Bedford one because they're on like a 6-game winning streak.
Yes.
With Bedford high CBAs clamping the most appropriate opposition midfielder.
So I'm with you. Bedford goes to Treloar.
Yes.
I think that's a lock.
Yeah.
And then I think if Bont's getting off the chain or whatever, then maybe Ward just goes to him, not as a hard tag as such, but more of a run with
Matches
roll.
up with him.
I think so. So that's the big
So
one.
Bedford's a lock to Treloar.
I believe so.
Enough for you to trade him out?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You can do that this week.
It's easy for you to say because you don't have him.
But if I did, I'd get rid of him. Same reason I had Sarong last week.
Gone.
Yep. Predictable
It's all right,
tag.
end up with 92.
He did well. He kicked a couple of goals for that, though.
Yeah.
But you still got a better player in.
Yeah.
Better score. So you got points out of it.
And that's it.
Well, that's an interesting one because if he is clamping him, that's a huge concern for
So
Treloar.
Treloar had a 94 against them in round 10.
Yeah.
Bedford, he played, but there was no tag.
No.
The tag has only started happening after that. So
Yeah.
Mars scares me, though. I've got PTSD from bloody small potato.
small potato, Cave Daniel.
Yeah. And it's a weird time slot. That adds to it.
12:30.
The
Mars
sausages
and 12:30.
Those sausages will be cooked out there. You'll smell those across the ground. And
Crikey.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
It feels like a Sunday market type thing.
Yeah. It does. So that could go, this is the funny thing, whoever gets clamped here could be extraordinarily bad, but on the flip side, that game could be a feast.
It could
for
be.
some.
Yep.
12:30, Mars, feast time.
Sausage sizzle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big one to watch.
We've got our last 2 trades to use because it is round 24. It is the grand final weekend of AFL Fantasy, and that's important for any team that's in there. We are probably in some, but none that really matter for us. In our leagues that we
we're done.
cared about. So hopefully we go all right in those ones that we might be playing in your league against you. But
Send us the cash if it was a cash league and you just popped us in there.
the big things is that we are looking at our trades, and what we thought we'd do this week is a bit of a combination, bit of a look at
Ring,
and
green, table, cow scale of hardness.
and mashup. I should actually make a real mashup
DJ
one
Dog.
day.
Look at him go over
Look
there.
at his wicked whack.
Yeah.
If anyone's got the skills to do that,
You know
do
someone's
that
doing it
for
right
us.
now. Yeah.
Yes,
I
do
can
it.
send you the files.
Put it on
See if we can
Spotify?
make it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
All right, so we are looking at basically do we call it our best 22 for round 24?
I think so.
That's what we're looking at. So, using your mind, Roy, mostly, because we all know what Calvin's mind's like sometimes.
Well, that's all right. He's the form one. So
he is the form one.
I've pumped it all into my system, but certainly, given the state of affairs, otherwise known as my form, and also the fact that, Cow is the form player of the competition, these are interchangeable.
Are we in order?
We're in order.
Yep. So, of what we think is the top scorer, we're going to get some wrong because there are going to be ones that jump out a bit higher and they're all close and all that sort of stuff. But does a bit of safety come with it as well?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is one of the criteria. I can't remember what I weighted it, but it is, definitely, dog, definitely.
Yeah. So ceiling's there, but it's more probably more
I don't
safety.
want anyone to get Sicily.
Yes.
Bitten by the dog. Right. We don't want to get bitten. Okay, so in defence, Cal, have you got your scale ready to go there?
Yes, mate.
Just as a little a tool, not that I haven't already factored it in myself, but number 1 is Newman, then Whitfield, Stewart, Sinclair, Daicos. Are you happy with that?
I am. A lot of greens there, Roy. Carlton are a red matchup for defenders.
Yeah.
But I don't think Carlton are what Carlton used to be.
That's what I thought.
Yes,
So
when
that's
they're
why
depleted.
I wasn't worried about that one based on, current state of affairs. Now, that left a blanket.
I love a blanket.
For number 6.
Yeah. Now, Martin, he was traded out due to the scale, basically.
Yeah.
And he has refound his form. He's playing at elite levels. So he definitely deserves to be there. The two that I'm looking at, given that they've got better matchups than him, are Duggan and Yo.
Agree.
So one out of those are rounding it out. Because I gave Daicos D5 over Martin.
Okay.
Due to matchups. And then
So Martin obviously against the Lions.
Yes.
But he's coming off those 2 120s
He is.
after we traded him out and playing that role that you'd think doesn't score.
Yeah. He's, as we spoke about the other day, he's a different kind of winger. He's not a hold your width winger. He's a get to the contest winger wherever it is.
We want the ball in your hands winger.
Yes. So I am happy to flip Daicos and Martin, but Daicos, he's got Melbourne.
He does.
And has had a 67-point quarter.
Martin at the Gabba against the Lions doesn't sit well with me.
It's just a bit tougher.
It is a lot tougher.
But is it too tough to hold out Duggan and Yo? It's at the Cattery, but the Cats are giving up some pretty big numbers to people.
You saw what Jack Steele did to him last week.
Yep, so Yo's playing inside mid, I think, at the moment.
He is. I think I'd like one of the West Coast boys there instead of Nick Martin.
Which is huge call. Martin's coming off 2 120s.
Yep. And I think I'm happy. I'm looking at a similar player here to Jack Steele. A tackling inside player. I'm going to give it to Yo.
Give it Yo.
Yo. Wow.
The GF.
Yo.
Yep, all right.
Get him back. He was there to start with.
Get him
in
back.
The season.
It's disgusting to think Martin is copying it here. How much does that guy need to take and what does he need to do?
Yep.
But so now in D6 is Yo for the week.
Wow.
I don't want... Is that on my head now?
Yep.
Sounding like beach balls.
That's all right.
So we won't call them Hail Marys, but some other options that you could be considering for defenders then.
Yeah.
I'll throw some names to you.
Yeah.
Zach Fisher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should be 100.
So playing here at Pig Park against the Hawks. And who went all right for the Tigers against them last week? Did Shorty get a good score?
Shorty always gets good scores.
Don't know.
Against Hawthorn last week.
Yeah.
Right, let me just tell you what happened.
Were they defenders?
So it was Vlostone who had 99, 10 marks. Shorty had a 98. Broad had an 8. Actually, 4 of their top 5 scorers against the Hawks last week were defenders.
And depending on what that can look like in that game, so then Colby could be an option as well. Colby was on fire in the first half.
So he had 59 in the first half.
He's got a Michael Barlow medal to win this
And
week.
then had 14
Yeah.
after that. Did not get the kick-ins. Fish was bullying him out of it.
This is his first home game, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, he could go nuts.
He could go nuts out here.
The other one that I would throw out there in that game is Carl Amon. Could he be an option?
Yeah.
So he went 106 against the Tigers on the weekend, 91 against the Blues, 124 against the Giants. So that's his last three.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Solid.
Yeah, he probably deserved to have at least a toe under the blanket.
Yep.
But I still like those other guys
Yeah,
more.
that's probably it. So you wouldn't consider, I know we talked about Sinclair.
Yes.
And the Blues maybe being a harder matchup, but not at the moment. Nasiah.
Oh, yeah, he deserved to have his foot under the blanket as well. But, yeah, no, not in the same league as those other 9 or 10 that we
Right, let's look at the midfield. And probably the conversation we were having off air beforehand is going, there's not a lot of guys that we are going epic matchup. This is where it is. You probably don't have a lot of faith in who you're picking. Is probably
Definitely not.
the
No.
thing in this. The one matchup, though, Cow, if we go on scale of hardness, who has the easiest matchup for midfielders?
It's got to be Gold Coast against Richmond.
Yeah.
But then Gold Coast are playing away from home.
Yeah.
And that's an issue.
That's a huge issue. Like Noah Anderson averages like 92 or 93 out of the Gold Coast. That's ridiculous.
This is a genuine dead rubber, this game.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
So out of those guys there, he's obviously the one, but other teams with good matchups. So Collingwood have got Melbourne. Mm-hmm. So who would you go as a midfielder from there?
Daicos.
Josh Daicos.
Oh, Josh.
Josh had a 130 against them this year already.
Yeah.
This is a kind of game where a player like him just pops up for a dirty little 130.
Yeah.
Other teams with good matchups, Geelong obviously have West Coast. Mm-hmm. That's a good matchup for them. But which mids would you go?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Stewart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Melbourne have a good matchup against Collingwood. Who would you go? Ed Langdon, 140 last week.
Yeah.
But no.
Couldn't do it.
West Coast.
Viney.
And then West Coast have the Geelong one with their mids. So
That's a tough one. Anyway, I had to refresh this one a few times because the system kept timing out. That's how tough it was.
Yep.
But it ended up landing like this. So Jack Steele, based on form and the fact that, the Blues aren't
Depleted
exactly
Blues.
Full strength, he gets number one. And then despite that average of 92 away, the fact it's a dead rubber and Richmond, it just lines up well enough for Anderson to push another 120. Then it gets really tough.
yes.
So I think Lockie Neal is going to be good at home, and I don't mind that matchup. Then it's Green, Butters coming off sensational form.
Yep.
And I don't mind his matchup despite being away. Brayshaw, who found 41 touches in a tough matchup last week with the Giants, he's back at home. Then Merritt, who's they got? The Lions.
Lions.
And
no Berry.
I think he's going to be fine. Rosie, based on his little body of work he's putting together. And then we're rounding it out with the blanket. I've got Bont, Treloar, both tag watch guys, and then Dunkley, who I'm going to put a line through, but then he's not getting tagged.
I think I've
at
got
least.
Dunkley ahead of those
Well, that's the
blokes
thing.
because he should be right.
Go to your random list, dog, of names you want to throw at us, and we'll see if we can put someone else in there. But, I mean, they're three big names, but Dunkley's been nothing but a headache. Treloar could get Bedforded.
So you've taken Jordan Dawson out of that.
I have.
Sydney at the SCG, potential tag.
Yes.
Because he's been awesome.
Oh, I would love to have him in there, but my goodness, if Merritt gets held to 60,
Yes.
that's where Jordan's going.
Agreed.
So you couldn't get Jordan Dawson. We're thinking the tag goes there.
We think so.
Yes.
Rory
convinced of
Laird, you couldn't based off that.
No,
like he's got the halfback role if that was working for him.
15 and a half rules him out.
It does.
Yeah, you just can't be doing that. Geez, who else are we looking at? It's a tough one. Could you think about Super Huey? He's coming off a massive score.
Well, yes, you could. There's no
What do
reason.
you have?
He won't be big again.
136 he had.
Yeah.
Good matchup.
I didn't see Walsh on your
matchup.
list.
Mate,
Really?
we do not even go there. He is so far down my list, it's not funny.
What about Viney Cow? So
Yeah,
he had
he's one you could
141
consider.
last week against the Suns and obviously has that Collingwood matchup, which is pretty good.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind it either.
He had 74 last time he played the Pies. How much can you read into that?
But
Not
he's
a lot, I guess.
now. Did you watch his? He played like a man possessed, right?
Yeah.
Now this is because he's leaving that club.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, the interview afterwards didn't sound
So he's doing a little bit of an
convincing for his
audition here for everybody else.
Well, he's going to
Dunno.
North. If he goes anywhere, he's only going to North to follow his dad.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? But, I mean, multiple teams would want him.
Oh, definitely.
If he was available.
His scores leading into that 141, though, 92, 55, 78, 66.
Yeah.
There's a few dirty ones.
Well,
in
we
there.
have called them Hail Marys.
Well, that's it.
Which, for the record, did you see on the Twitter sphere last night, someone had really threw the dummy out of the cot about Sicily.
Right.
Now, we couldn't have been clearer with our rankings last week, and the only reason I ended up there is because I fell short of someone good. So, goodness me, own that one yourself.
That's right.
You go for a 6.
Did you call? I've really switched off social a lot lately.
I'm going to have to, otherwise my phone's ticking time bomb.
And you copped it.
I did. Look, that is hitting a 6.
Oh, yeah.
Or swinging for one.
It is swinging.
You didn't connect with anything, but
Top
you wear
edge.
that one yourself.
Well, we
That's it.
throw the Hail Mary thing
Yes.
out there. What about another Hawthorn one, Jai Newcombe? So he's coming off a 121 against the Tigers.
He's very good, early especially.
And we, what was it, down here in that pracky game? Duke Newcombe got said, but against North Melbourne, down here, could he be one? He's in about 5% of teams.
He is a Hail Mary, but not
He
one
is.
I'm happy to even
I
tick
think
off.
we've got enough big names.
Is it not the position to Hail Mary? Because there's no one with that matchup that you really can see a massive ceiling from that all the other criteria add up to.
Like if Noah Anderson was at home, I'd say chase a 150 in that game.
Agree.
I'm still thinking 120, 130.
It has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's why he's sitting
Well,
so
you've got
high.
Anderson at 2. Like,
Yeah.
that's not the Hail Mary, but that's the target of the unique type player
Yes.
that you don't
Yeah.
have. Because most of the other guys aren't really unique at all,
No,
are they? Like,
no.
just roll with what you've got in the mids.
I think you're right.
And that might even help you with who you're trading out. Who do you feel comfortable in getting rid of in your midfield?
That's half the problem. I feel like any of those that you get rid of are going to burn you. Someone like SicDawg who's got Bont and Treloar, whichever one you pick there almost guarantees would be the one.
It's an aggressive trade out.
It is, but it's got so much merit. If
100%.
we knew that Treloar was getting Bedford, you would be very tempted to move him on, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Because that could be 50 points less than
It could.
Anderson, for example.
Definitely.
Is there much to say in the rucks apart from X and Marshall?
Nah, we all
is
know.
it that order?
Yeah, it's still that order, I think. But my goodness, it's splitting hairs with those two.
Is there a
both
ruck
guns.
matchup, Cow, that could make you think it could be to hold? Like Max was average last week. Like he only scored that 84. He's got the pies.
So, yeah, he had a 148 against Darcy Cameron earlier this year.
Well, that'd have you tempted to
It would.
stay unique.
And Oscar McInerney scored a 111 against Darcy Cameron last week.
Yeah.
So Max will be in my captain calculations.
Yeah.
So
Maybe worth a hold then and
It
attack
might-
somewhere else.
I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be hard to do.
It'd be very hard
Certainly
to do.
wouldn't be watching the other two play.
You
All
wouldn't.
right, tell us your top 6 forwards.
Right, so this is a place where you might actually be able to make some points as we get towards the bottom of the list here. But I'm going with Flanders. Despite the role changing again, and he's not hitting CBAs, but I think it's up the other end of the ground. But I still think he's going to take full advantage of this matchup and won't matter where he plays. I think Zorko, as long as he doesn't have that rest that we used to talk about,
well, they've got the pre-finals bye.
they do. So why would you want to break
Can you believe he's got through?
Nah, just amazing.
It is.
We've talked about this before. We were going like, he's only had that one little blemish where he played for.
Yep. And we used to say, oh, well, maybe we could do it. You got 2 trades a week. What a waste of time and energy
Exactly.
all that was. So Zorko's number 2. I've got more at number 3. Now, last time I watched him down here, it was less than impressive. It was great first
And was that
half.
the first week you got him as well?
I reckon. That
think it
sounds like
was.
how I've been rolling. But I think he'll be good. He's in great form, and it is a good matchup, realistically. Heaney's coming in next. Then Caldwell, I think he'll be fine, despite being up there. And then the blanket, it's a king size.
It's a big blanket.
There's a heap of them. And there's points here to be had on your opposition if you get the right one. Now, getting the right one is where it's going to be tough. I've got Daniels in rounding it
Brent, my boy Brent.
Damn,
Firstly,
Daniels.
there was a couple of things that were in his favour. Firstly, the ceiling. He's just shown a ceiling of 170. Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Secondly,
People came up against that in draft.
yeah, see you later. Secondly, his form has been good. He's only got one blemish really in the last month or so. Thirdly, his name's Brent, and that's what got him over the line out of the other guys under the blanket. Now, hear me out with the rest
he's in
of them.
at 6.
He's in at 6, but I'm happy for him to be bumped because it's Brent.
It's Brent.
Okay. Now, Myers, in and out of the RR22. He's playing at home. Sounds good. Not good.
Isn't good.
But matchup is good.
It is.
Can't see how he's not good. He was getting a heap of CBAs on the weekend.
Was he?
Yeah, a lot. So it was interesting. Anyway, he's there. Kennedy.
Forward.
Form is great the last two. One was as a mid. Second one was as a forward.
Key forward even.
Key
Was
forward.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, someone flagged that. Someone's not seeing things well for their own team, but my God, I've got your back everywhere else. So that happened, but he's still got a ton. Powell, you guys know too well that Kapow keeps being Kapow, not Kaplop.
Yep.
Yeah, he wasn't epic this week, though. This was our first little one.
What was it? Didn't he get to
to
90 in the end?
what did he have? Let me have a look.
Have a look for me.
They got done by 100.
Tom Powell had
78.
78.
Yeah, so that's no good. He can't get in.
No.
The one that I like that is random is McDonald.
Yes, the Warthogs have looked there.
Have you?
Shopping there.
I don't blame you. Now,
Here?
is he playing more of a wing at the moment? Because he's not
I'm not
relying
watching
on
enough Hawthorn.
he's not relying on goals by any stretch. He's taken a lot of marks. He's playing right up and down a wing when I have seen, and he has to be in the mix.
So he went 98 on the weekend, 118 the week before that. Had a 60 against the Giants, but 110 against the Crows.
Yeah.
Last time he played against North was a 94.
Yeah, this has got a 90 written all over it.
10 marks for that one.
Yeah.
He's 12 and 9 marks the last 2 weeks as well.
You got to excuse him that 60 against the Giants.
Yeah,
Other than
exactly.
that, he's basically been a 90 to a 120 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
He's
it.
been fantastic.
He's no Brent, but geez.
No, Fisher has to be back in the mix, especially if Fisher's taken the kick-outs.
Yeah.
Where was this from Fish when I had him a couple of weeks ago and he got subbed out on 30 or something? Or we can look at, so those guys are there, and I think they're all serviceable. They all should be able to hit 90. One of them might, or two of them might pop for a 110. So finding that one would be nice.
Coming on
seen
from
in the
the
past,
southern end.
Yes, we have seen in the past that chasing a key forward in round, what are we? 24.
28.
Well, I don't think we've seen that before, but in the last round, chasing a key forward to kick a bag.
Hitting some sixes.
We're obviously looking at Cameron and Hogan. So Cameron's done it before. Hogan's in great form. And then you'd have to even say Joe is capable of something random versus in his revenge game from 20 years ago.
Well, last revenge game, Cow.
Yeah, he kicked 6, 118 as Lions' top scorer.
Right. So we've got Cameron.
He scored 4 on the weekend, had an 85 or whatever it was. So,
I don't want Joe
No.
out of this group.
No.
Cameron,
Jez is the one.
he could have a field day.
Well, if old mate Kempy kicks 4 goals
Yes.
against the Eagles,
Yes.
what does Jezza kick? 24?
Well, that's the thing. Jezza could have a bag here, 8 to 10, if he feels like playing.
So he had 3 on the weekend.
Well,
for
there's
an
no
82.
Hawkins this week.
No.
So he's definitely won't be playing.
So that could be nuts. And Hogan's, his form alone has been sensational.
Been good, hasn't he?
But, yeah, I think Jez is the one you would take the punt on if you were doing that. But I'd go say safety. There's no safety in F6, but I would go one of these guys that is finding a little bit more ball around the ground.
So like a Daniels, McDonald,
Yeah,
Fisher,
yeah.
those kind of
So
guys.
give me a top 3 out of that whole blanket, including Daniels.
So Daniels would be my number 1.
Yeah,
After looking at those McDonald numbers, he's probably number 2.
yeah,
Yeah, wow.
And then Myers at home against West Coast,
surely.
you would think.
Surely.
Happy with that 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Kennedy over Myers.
Okay.
Kennedy.
I know.
Just a worry.
It is, but you're not exactly sleeping well with Myers.
No,
either.
you're not. No. I'm happy to change those around.
Fisher.
Yeah, surely. But I tell you what, he's a sleepless night himself.
This spot all year.
Like down here.
Of course it has to still
And
be
here we
round-
are, round 24, and we
24
still don't have an
trying to work out
F6.
So Fish, how on earth he ever could bully someone? But Fish is bullying Colby out of kickouts.
Yep.
Not in Launceston, mate.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing. He might lose all his kickouts here.
Who, Fish?
Yeah.
He could.
Surely Colby gets them all down here.
He'd have to.
You would think so.
Because he had a lot at the start of the game when he was filling his boots.
Yeah.
So he played on 6 out of 6.
Yeah.
And then Fish has 5.
Get out of it.
Get out of there, mate. And look at the games before that. Colby, 11 out of 11.
Yeah.
13 out of 11 out of 13.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, she's tough going there.
But they spread it around as well. Like, who's that? Luke McDonald had a couple of kick-ins.
Scotty comes down.
Tucker had a couple of kick-ins.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. Get out of there.
There you go.
All right, let's have a look at the most popular trades ahead of round 24. That's our Fantasy Grand Final weekend. And Nic Newman is the most traded in player at the moment with Dylan Moore, Brent Daniels, Calvinator,
Brent.
Noah Anderson and Matthew Kennedy. All players that I guess are in the mix should score pretty well this week. Now, the most traded out, Hayden Young's up there.
Yep.
James Peatling, Brodie Grundy, got to get rid of him. And Lawson Humphries and Jordan Clark. So players, I guess, that we're looking at that we do need to move along. It's hard at this point of the season. You're probably going to trade out someone that might score all right, as we've pretty much done every week in this luxury trading season. All right, trades. I am going to kick it off because I'm looking forward to going to watch Hawthorn and North Melbourne here at Pig Park. And out of a bit of interest, I'll bring in a couple of players. So I am going to get Zach Fisher and Connor McDonald in. They'll come in for Hayden Young and Mason Wood. Calvinator?
I'm doing the same. Woody Woodpecker goes for me. And I'm going to go with Brent Daniels. Now, he's my new favourite player, Roy.
Is he?
Yeah, and Merritt will go to Neil just because I'm angry with him at the moment.
Yeah,
Well, it's an
fair call.
upgrade, I guess.
It's a small upgrade.
Yeah, and that's small upgrades are fine as long as they're upgrades this time of year. Now, I'm going to have to follow the crowd after falling short last week. I do have to get Newman for this matchup. Now, it's not going to be at the expense of Sicily, though.
Oh.
I will have a look at Sicily with a bit of new age loop-de-loop action.
Oh, nice.
Just to end the season.
Wow.
Yes.
And you'll be watching that live too.
Yeah, I will. Very excited about it.
Sicily?
Yes.
Beware of that bloke in the crowd.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
All right, let's get into it. Question time. For the last time this year, although we'll do plenty on Thursday night for the live stream. We will. So make sure you're tuning into that. AFL.com.au, the AFL Live app from 6:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time. It'll be a cracker. Go off with a bang.
Always is.
All right, Paul wants to know, or just has to say this, does it get any better than this? Being the league commissioner in both Classic and in Draft. The last few seconds of the weekend. I don't care what happens in the grand final. It was an epic battle for the ages this week. Won by a point there in Draft. And then won
That's what we
by
want to hear.
3 points in Classic.
Brutal.
Way to go.
Massive.
That's awesome.
How you'd be happy
What
about
up, Paul?
that.
All right, let's get going with some more questions here. John, could we see the Swans rest or manage some players given they've locked in top spot?
It's just that week
I'm with you.
off has now sort of stopped that compared to what it used to be.
The Swans aren't flying either.
No, they can't get pretty. Mind you, having said that, anything minor,
Sub
like
type
what was
thing.
what was Warner's injury? Like was that
Calf, and I don't reckon he'll play again, play this week.
No, so I don't know. You wouldn't push anyone with a serious niggle, but I don't think we're going to see.
It's not like
mass
it used to
resting.
be.
No.
Remember that day when it was when Fremantle changed the whole rules?
Yes.
So they just rested basically their whole team.
Yeah. Yep.
So, no, I can't see it happening a lot.
No.
Johnny, currently ranked 148. What is the best throw at the stumps trade to try to get myself a hat? Currently looking at one defender and one forward. Who would be that one? Is it Jezza as the forward?
No, it's Brent.
Well, that's
171, and he's
that's
at
the
Mars.
thing.
Funny
I think
things
he
happen
goes
there.
171.
Funny things happen at Mars.
So throwing at the stumps, that's obviously fraught with danger. But gosh, Brent does have the highest current ceiling. Like that's a game changer. You nail it, and you are automatically up there. But I don't know.
Look, he had 13 tackles.
Yeah. Why did he turn that up a
tackles.
notch like that?
Unbelievable.
It's had double figures earlier this year as well, but it's not like it's a consistent access to points for him.
No.
I guess it is Jezza then, isn't it?
Yep. The defender, if it was that throw at the stumps, is it Yowie?
Yeah.
Well, that matchup is great from what we've seen in recent times, isn't it?
Agree.
Does Yowie have the big ceiling though?
That's the problem.
Yo, he's had a 108 last week. A few weeks ago, a 112. There's a 117, and that's his best this year.
I
So,
mean,
no, he doesn't have the ceiling.
Is there someone that could take a heap of marks? Like
Okay, like a Wilkie did last week,
Wilkie
for
did.
example.
Yeah. Is there a North Melbourne? Sorry, not North Melbourne. Is there a Carlton guy that could take a heap of marks against the Saints?
I can just link up down back all day long.
They just don't have anyone left.
who? Carlton.
Carlton.
Oh, well, Newman.
Yeah, but like
It's
a
not
throw
a
at the stumps. Yeah.
Oh, hell no, there's no one else. No.
Good luck. Hopefully, go back and listen to what Roy said before, see if we can find someone out of that you might like. Adam, can only afford one this week. Is it more important to upgrade Sicily to Newman or Simpkin to Kennedy this week? Be Sicily to Newman for me.
Yep, agree.
Yeah. Sicily can't be trusted.
Simpkin could outscore Kennedy.
He
I
could.
don't think. Yeah.
I wouldn't be backing that one in.
No,
but
he could.
So Sicily down here, this used to be his fortress where he would pump hundreds at will.
Yep.
But his last two down here, I don't think he's cracked 80.
He's disinterested?
Yeah.
No.
Shoulder. That shoulder must be a thing because he used to demand the ball. Now he doesn't want it. He runs from it.
El Zano, sitting 8th overall despite an incredibly disappointing score from the sick pup.
Well done.
Does he stay for the end-of-year trip with his matchup against North?
Not if you're 8.
No. Even if he plays for you this week, you don't invite him on the trip. But I don't think you hold him this week.
No.
He could get Eddie Ford.
If you're 8th overall, you've probably got everyone.
Yeah, but he's so bad.
Yep. He's got to go.
He has to go.
Chillo, I still have Sheasel, and I'm assuming he doesn't play. Yeah, I don't reckon he'll be there. Who's the best point of difference to replace it for a 1 week only special performance? Defender's probably the hard one. Like the midfielders, we don't really have that 1 week special play defender.
We don't. And that's where we're talking about Yowie and Duggan and those guys.
Because they are well and truly, in the mix for that play. Just going back to that other one, sitting in 8th, he could have a look at Sicily.
Yeah. Because what is it?
His team would be that good.
4th game of the weekend.
Yeah. You could loop that.
Yes.
If on the off chance he's any good. I was only ever doing it for a 1 week. I was going to trade him this week anyway.
Now you're holding him.
Well, because I can loop now,
Yeah.
I might as well. Because, like, for example, you trade him to someone. He might be in a similar position. So you could go, all right, trade Sicily to Newman, but is there anyone else you really want to get rid of? Maybe it is time just to go, oh, well, I'll get Newman anyway, and Sicily might be all right as a looper.
Now, Cal, you haven't put any time in captains yet properly. Harry's saying need a unique vice captain this week. We both have X and the Marshall combo.
So it could be like a Nic Daicos against Melbourne on Friday night.
Okay.
You could look at that. Goulden would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
So after what Port Adelaide did to the Crows, and Goulden already played them once this year and had a 127. So Goulden back at the SCG could be big, but everyone's just got to do the old combo, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
You would think so.
Roy's going to win a hat. Hell yeah. Steph top 10 GOAT. I'm so depressed.
Oh.
I had a round rank of 11 and was 15 points off first. If I just took the VC from Marshall instead of rolling with Xerri, I would have won $300 worth of AFL stuff.
No, you would have lost by 2.
Doesn't math.
You would have lost by 2.
Close though.
Which
Still
that's good though.
It's still a really good
Well
effort.
done on being round rank of 11. That's huge.
That's awesome.
No, and start thinking about it like that.
Yes.
You have done well.
Yeah.
You have not failed there. You have done very well.
You've beaten thousands of people. Millions.
Right. X. Got Sheasel and Peatling out this week and about 100K. Should I bring in Moore and Clark? Moore, yes. Clark.
Oh, see, I'm looking to get rid of Clark, to be honest. But if this is turning into a bruise-free kick-to-kick game in that last game, then you want him in your team. So against Port Adelaide, they are at home though, Freo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I tick off the Moore. Would you tick off Clark?
Clark out.
In?
No.
No, go better areas.
I've just realised something. My system's failed me for the first time this year.
Yeah.
When I went through my midfield role on 22, I actually had Errol after Anderson in third, and that bumped the rest of them down.
Oh, you forgot Errol.
Yeah. Apologies for that. Just make your adjustments and carry on.
Has been listening to this going, I can't believe
Yes, I know.
There.
I know. Thankfully, I worked it out before we finished.
Well, it's a layup.
Otherwise, yeah, the socials.
Who goes first out of Hayden Young or Jordan Clark?
Hayden Young or Jordan Clark? I think Clark goes better than Young this week.
I agree. Hayden Young only played 68% game time.
That was weird. Yeah.
Wonder what that was about.
Young goes.
Oh, this one. Why are you guys bad at fantasy?
Well, not all of us.
Not awful.
Just Warnie at the moment. You've got a good rank. I'm coming home like a freight train. Dog. Just
I'm solid.
I know. I can tell. I'm looking at you.
I'm a very good coach out of luck, mate. That's my answer.
Yeah.
Liam, is Calvin's favourite movie Jaws?
Oh, here we go. Back to this.
Okay. We'll do it quickly because a couple of people thought we talked too long about this.
Go. You've been stitched up.
No, I haven't. You've been mewing at home, and I know that.
Been mewing at home.
Your son's even talking about it.
Oh, dog.
True?
No.
Is that true?
Has Lenny? Yes, he has talked about
there we
mewing.
go. There's your
Not
answer.
me.
See, this is a new
I didn't even know that.
thing to me. I'd
me
never
either.
heard of it. But now that you guys have been talking about it, I was at the gym the other day. Yeah, believe it or not. But and this guy, hella jawline. And I was like, he mews.
Yeah.
I think he even was mewing while he was between sets.
He probably was.
It's incredible.
So that's the answer. You were doing that.
No, I wasn't doing that.
Yes.
So Lenny was doing it, and they just thought they'd be funny and get you, and you've been hook, line, and sinkered. Yeah. So
Joke's
well
still
done.
on you.
The joke's not on me. You've been nabbed. And you thought you were being funny.
Doing
Look at
that
you.
with your little son.
Sitting
Why
back
are you letting
there,
him mew?
Sitting back there thinking you're all smug
Well,
and
maybe
cool.
you should start mewing.
Yeah, I know. Get rid of that third chin I've got.
I need to mew.
Lockie, can I hold Membry into my final as a pod F6?
Look,
So
remember
against the Blues.
he has looked good. Like
has
he's
looked
playing
good.
really well.
He is.
But no, I don't think you could play him this week.
No. So we had 84 last week. He kicked the goal. But no, he's a 70 guy.
Yeah.
He did have a 150 against West Coast a few weeks back, which is
Cameron.
what they're saying. Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That supports your Cameron case.
Harry, do I hold Peatling or Jackson? My rank is disgusting, but made it through to the granny.
Look.
Oh, wow.
I'd have to go Jackson, a 30.
He could be subbed. He could be subbed or
Peatling,
dropped.
yeah, definitely.
Peatling.
Yep.
Yeah, he could be.
So Jackson plays.
But they keep winning. Oh, you got to play Jackson.
You've got to
over
play
Peatling.
Jackson. Yep.
Yeah.
My grand final opponent has uniques of Stewart, Whitfield, Steele, and Zorko. Who would you try to match? It won't be Zork, as he's on the Never Again list, and I'll die on that hill.
Right. Probably Steele then.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
And Stewart.
Like Stewart's a huge
If you're
worry
trying to
if
do
you don't
two.
own him. Yeah,
Stewart and Steele, the two big ones.
I think so. After back-to-back fails in the role that he's never failed in,
Yep.
I think he's going to be good again this week.
He has to, doesn't
Should
he?
you go back on your dying on that hill of Zorko, though? Zorko against the Bombers this week could be big.
He's going to be big.
I don't know if you should be stubborn on that one.
No.
I think Zork
Does
will
he
be
go
good.
ahead of those ones, though?
They're all a worry, to be honest.
they are.
I don't want to cost you sleep, but yeah, I think all those guys are going to be good this week.
Hayden wants to know, do you downgrade Humphreys, which I guess you can do, and then upgrade Clark, Laird, or Merritt? And who to? If you don't have Anderson, try to get him.
Yeah,
Would you do that from Laird or Merritt?
I'm giving Merritt a go.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying Merritt's going to be fine this week. Laird,
Laird's at the SCG, and he's lost at the moment.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
It's probably Laird.
Laird goes.
Laird's lads, Mr. We Flyers one. Looking ahead to next year, could you legends discuss who you think will be F1, F2 and F3? We'll talk a little bit more about that as we sign off on our Mad Monday podcast next week. But
yes.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Because we lose them all. We'll lose all our forwards.
Not going to look great.
Bailey Smith.
Again, Bailey Smith.
F1.
There you go.
And Ryan, not Brian Smith, do you think the moment Roy's season derailed was when Calvin wrote that song?
Roy?
Well, there was a couple of things, but that was, definitely in line with what I was thinking. And I said it was going to happen. It's not my style to early crow, and I copped the consequences, despite me not being the one that did it.
You did like to participate in that video.
Oh, I did, actually.
All right, good luck to everyone trying to win one of those hats. Hell yeah. And your league premiership. That's what it's all about. And good luck at the top end for that Hilux, the Toyota Hilux. 70K worth of vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
So nice. So good luck, everyone. Stay tuned to afl.com.au/fantasy this week for all the great content. And we'll see you through to the end. We'll be back next Monday for our Mad Monday podcast. See you then. And
happy trading.
Ooh, last two.